Hello and welcome to Adaptation, the vlog for film adaptations and the original material they're based on. I'm Jessica Dick, and this week you're in for another of our What Are We Reading videos. Cut. This time we'll start with our audiobook of the month, which is what we're calling it now only because Jennifer insists on cheating by giving us two titles again. Our audiobook of the month is A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. It's a story of time travel and an epic battle of good versus evil in the universe, with some deceivingly complex storylines, but at the heart of it, it's a really simple tale of love. And not like romantic love, no. It's a story of family, of brother and sister, father and daughter, of coming together and finding each other. Not to mention, Meg Murray is such a relatable character. I mean, she's flawed and self-conscious and rash and feels like an outcast. Like everybody. Jen is also reading His Majesty's Dragon, which is the first book in Naomi Novik's Temeraire series. Now, I'm not even going to try to give a long explanation about this. Let me just say that the book jacket describes it as Jane Austen playing Dungeons and Dragons with Aragon's Christopher Paolini. That's good enough for me. So I know what I'll be reading next, but for now, I'm finishing up Mark of Athena, which is the third book in Rick Riordan's Heroes of Olympus series. You may recognize it as the sequel series to Percy Jackson, and that's actually where a lot of its appeal comes from, in the familiar characters that we've already come to love. But there are also a new cast of characters, like a surprisingly kick-ass daughter of Aphrodite, of all things, and a quirky, snarky son of Hephaestus. And then of course we also have some Roman influences. Son of Jupiter, a daughter of Pluto. In fact, that's where a lot of the plot comes in, is seeing the clash between Greek and Roman, not only between the demigods and the myths, but also between the gods themselves. So there's a lot of opportunity for tension. But don't worry, there's also plenty of Rick Riordan's telltale, quirky, funny humor. Moving on, Nicole is currently reading Manga Attack on Titan, Volume 1. It's a comic book series set in a Renaissance-ish steampunk sort of setting. But as cool as that sounds, this is not a type of world that you'd want to live in. I mean, humanity has been all but destroyed by these giants called Titans, and the rest of the survivors are like holed in this city, barely living. It's not what you'd call a happy tale. But if you're in the mood for some action, horror, and visual gore, this is definitely the book that you'd want to check out. Kendall, for one, is in the mood for something a little bit different. She's currently reading The Persian Door by N.E. Wilson. Now, why does that name sound familiar? Anyway, in this book, the protagonist Lillian gets pulled into a parallel world that's plagued by a war, and the inhabitants of her new home are convinced that she's the only one who can restore balance, according to the prophecy. Not really, but I've just always wanted to end a sentence with that, and it seemed to fit. And if any viewers can figure out the hidden cool factor in this entry, leave your comments below, and we'll give you a shout out in one of our upcoming episodes. So rain or shine or Indian summer, our hosts are always reading something interesting, and we hope that you are too. So feel free to weigh in on our book choices and to tell us what pages your noses are stuck in. And tell us in which pages your noses are stuck? See, that just sounds weird. Also, links to our blog, Twitter, Tumblr, and Facebook pages can be found in the info section. And don't forget to subscribe and check out our podcast on iTunes. We hope to see you next week, and until then, keep reading.